Hey everybody, I'm Dan McClellan. I'm a scholar of the Bible and religion. The fit for today is the death of Superman. Let's take a look at a video.
One of the earliest versions is the Ethiopian Bible and the Sinai Bible.
All right, let's see it.
So the earliest version of the Bible, or one of the earliest, is in Ethiopia. What are the differences between that Bible and, let's say, like the King James?
Okay, there are a couple things. So first, the Old Testament is the Torah from the Ethiopian Torah.
Wait,
Right.
the oldest Torah we have is also Ethiopian?
Yeah.
This is not anywhere close to being true. Our earliest manuscripts of the Pentateuch, the Torah, written in Ge'ez, are medieval in origin and late medieval. We have the Garima Gospels from between the 4th and 7th centuries CE, 2 or 3 manuscripts of the 4 Gospels. But when it comes to manuscripts of the Hebrew Bible, they don't come until many centuries after that. Although this manuscript tradition dates very early, probably early to mid-4th century CE. You had Syrian missionaries bringing editions of the Septuagint, which included the Hebrew Bible, the texts of the Apocrypha and other pseudepigrapha, and the New Testament down to the kingdom of Aksum, and then the tradition developed from there.
Okay, so oldest version of Old Testament, Ethiopia.
Ethiopia.
Oldest version of New Testament, either Sinai or Ethiopia.
So this is closer to being accurate, but it's still not accurate. The oldest manuscripts of New Testament texts in Ge'ez are the Garima Gospels, Garima 1 and Garima 2, and these just have the 4 Gospels, not the whole New Testament. Garima 2 is the earliest of these, which dates to between like 390 CE and maybe 566 CE. I think those are the dates that carbon dating returned. And so we do have probably earlier texts than that in Sinaiticus and Vaticanus. And those contain the majority of the New Testament, the entire New Testament as the scribes considered it at the time. So like Vaticanus doesn't include the pastoral epistles, probably because they did not think that they were canonical. But it has the rest of the New Testament and all 4 Gospels. Those would be the earliest manuscripts of the whole New Testament as it existed in the 4th century CE.
What are the differences we see in these and then the newer versions of the text?
Well, what's interesting is the text. There's less mistranslations.
Less mistranslations, got it.
In the Ethiopian Bible and the Sinai Bible, there's about 12 to 14,000 differences than the more modernized King James Version.
So just to be clear, Billy Carson does not know Hebrew, does not know Greek, does not know Latin, does not know Ge'ez, doesn't know anything about translation, has nothing to contribute here. So instead, he's going to make claims that have absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with the Garima Gospels or Codex Sinaiticus.
And what are the differences?
Well, for example, Moses never crossed the Red Sea. He crossed the Sea of Reeds, which is a closer, much smaller, and easier sea to cross.
So 2 things here. First, this is a pretty pedestrian observation. People have long known that the Hebrew phrase Yam Suf means Sea of Reeds. We call that sea the Red Sea in most languages today, and that's because in the 3rd century BCE, when the Hebrew Bible was translated into ancient Greek, when we got the Septuagint, they rendered Yam Suf in Greek as Erythra Thalassa, which means Red Sea. We're not sure exactly why. Some scholars think that colors were used for cardinal directions, so it would be the South Sea, because for whatever reason red was associated with the South. That could be it, but because of that translation, the same sea has been referred to as the Red Sea in most languages ever since. So they're not different seas, and this isn't really a significant observation. But additionally, this has absolutely nothing to do with different readings in the Garima Gospels or in the Septuagint. The Septuagint is responsible for the change to the designation Red Sea, and the Garima Gospels are based on Septuagint manuscripts that were brought down to the kingdom of Aksum in the early 4th century CE. So Carson is not actually identifying a difference. He was asked for differences, and he's just sharing factoids that he thinks are cool, without knowing if they have anything whatsoever to do with any of these manuscripts.
Also, another mistranslation is the God. God is not supposed to be singular in the Bible. It's plural in all cases, gods with an S.
This is laughably false, and anyone with a single semester of training in biblical Hebrew would see right through this as a ridiculous falsehood. Not only is it laughably false, it's also something that is not supported by anything in the Septuagint or in any Ethiopian biblical manuscript. Again, this is just a cool factoid that Carson repeatedly shares on social media without being able to connect it in any way, shape, or form to any of these manuscripts that he's being asked about.
But I just want to learn some more about these differences in the Bible.
This interviewer keeps trying to bring it back to what's actually in these manuscripts, and Carson has shared literally nothing from these manuscripts. He's just using this as an opportunity to hawk his conspiracy theories, which are pure and utter nonsense.
I give you one big translation that's off, is they say, well, Jesus was crucified.
Whoa.
Well, that doesn't exist in the Sinai Bible.
What happened?
It doesn't exist in the book of Barnabas.
So once again, Carson puts on display his abject and complete ignorance of these manuscripts. Codex Sinaiticus has the normal gospel text with the normal references to the crucifixion. Now, Codex Sinaiticus also has a New Testament apocryphal text known as the Epistle of Barnabas, which is not included in the canon anymore, but was considered authoritative for a lot of early Christians. Now, Carson refers to the Book of Barnabas as not having references to the resurrection. That is not a reference to the Epistle of Barnabas, which is in Codex Sinaiticus. That is a reference to the Gospel of Barnabas, which was composed in the Middle Ages and denies that Jesus was crucified. It has absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with Sinaiticus. Carson just does not have the first clue what he's talking about.
So how did they kill him?
They didn't kill him. In Harvard Library, there is a book of Jesus' wife at the Harvard Seminary School. And they found that about 8 years ago.
So there is no such book. This is actually a reference to a little scrap of papyrus that you can see here that was originally thought to be a part of a 3rd or 4th century CE, probably Gnostic gospel that refers to Jesus' wife, but turned out to be a forgery.